They remake Jordans. They re-release vintage game consoles. Even movies and shows from the 90s are getting reboots left and right. So, here's the question. Why not 90s cars? I mean, think about it. 90s cars had soul. They had style. Now, some were wild, and some were weird. But they all had something today's vehicles are missing. Character. Now, while sneaker brands are cashing in on nostalgia with every retro release, the auto industry just keeps marching forward, blending cars into a sea of lookalike SUVs and tech-heavy sameness. Now in this video, we're diving into the icons of the 1990s. Not just the legends everyone remembers, but the ones that could have made a comeback, but didn't. Now the 90s were a golden era for cars. It was the sweet spot. Tech was evolving fast, but design still had some character. No oversized screens, no nanny systems, just raw performance, creativity, and boldness. We had lightweight Japanese sports cars, aggressive American muscle, Euro sleepers, and each one told a story. So why are sneaker companies out here bringing back every OG model from 1991, while automakers are pumping out another generic crossover? Let's take a ride through the 10 classic 90s icons and explore why the industry just won't do it. Kicking things off with a car immortalized by Fast and Furious, the 1994 Toyota Supra MK4. Now this wasn't just Japan's Corvette killer. It was a rolling flex of engineering dominance. The legendary 2JZ GTE inline-6 engine was overbuilt to an almost absurd degree. Forged internals, cast iron block, twin turbos. This thing was built to handle 1,000 plus horsepower with just a few bolt-ons. And the design? Those wide hips, that iconic spoiler, the pop-up headlights. It looked like it was born in a wind tunnel and raised in an arcade. It was a perfect blend of 90s flair and mechanical grit. But more than that, the MK4 was a tuner's dream. It wasn't just fast from the factory, it invited you to make it faster. So why didn't Toyota bring it back as it was? Well, regulations, costs, and a global strategy that prioritized efficiency over authenticity. So instead of a raw, analog beast, we got a BMW-powered remix wearing a Supra badge. But for purists, the MK4 will always be the real deal. A car that didn't just look fast, but felt alive every time you touched the throttle. The next on our list didn't just enter the supercar ring, it rewrote the rules. Sleek exotic looks? Check. Mid-engine, rear-wheel drive layout? Check. But here's where it changed the game. It brought Honda reliability to a segment known for breakdowns and brutal maintenance costs. Developed with input from Ayrton Senna, the Acura NSX wasn't just a pretty face, it handled. Aluminum chassis, double wishbone suspension, razor-sharp steering. It was a precision scalpel in a world of sledgehammers. And under that beautiful hood, a high-revving VTEC 3.0-liter V6 that screamed to 8,000 RPM and delivered its power with mechanical honesty that you could feel through your spine. Yes, they technically rebooted it in 2016, but let's be honest. The new NSX is a hybridized, tech-heavy spaceship that almost nobody remembers. It lost its simplicity, the analog soul, the connection. The original, it was light, raw, and mechanical in the best way possible. It didn't need turbos or software trickery. It needed you. And that's why it's unforgettable. Moving on with the sculpture on wheels, the Mazda RX-7 was art in motion. Its flowing curves, long hood, and compact stance gave it one of the most beautiful profiles in automotive history. But under that curvy shell, a twin-turbocharged 1.3-liter rotary engine that made it a corner-carving rocket. Light, nimble, and rev-happy, the FD was all about balance, low weight, low center of gravity, and telepathic handling. And that rotary? Love it or fear it, the Wankel was unique. High revving, smooth as silk, and unlike anything else on the road, it made the RX-7 feel alive. Mazda has teased rotary returns for years. Concepts, tech showcases, even range extenders, but the true RX-7 spirit? Still MIA. Maybe it's emissions, maybe it's the niche fan base, but 30 years later, enthusiasts still whisper about it like a legend that never got its proper sequel. Now before BMWs were status symbols, they were driver's cars, and the E36 M3, it hit that sweet spot. Nimble, balanced, and razor-sharp without screaming for attention. With its 240 horsepower inline-6 and near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution, this was a car you wore, not just drove. It slid through corners with grace, felt planted at speed, and gave feedback through every control. No drift modes, no fake engine noise, just pure analog precision. In today's world of digital distractions and bloated dimensions, you'd think BMW might be bringing back something like this. a lightweight analog coupe for purists. Instead, we got the M4, wider than a pickup, heavier than a classic 7 Series, and crammed with gimmicks. The soul of the E36? Still waiting for its resurrection. Moving on to number 5. Twin turbos, Targa top, futuristic dash. The Nissan 300ZX was a spaceship with torque. With its 300 horsepower VG30 DETT V6 and those signature pop-up headlights, it was bold, fast, and way ahead of its time. The interior felt like a cockpit, and the chassis could dance with Europe's best. I mean, yeah, Nissan brought the Z name back, but the new one skipped what made the Z32 unforgettable: that sleek, low-slung wedge shape, the hidden lights, and that sci-fi swagger. Imagine a modern 300ZX with retro styling, real analog charm, and today's performance tech. That's the kind of remake that would sell out faster than a Travis Scott Jordan drop. Next up is the Ford Escort Cosworth. Huge wing, turbocharged madness. Now this wasn't just a hot hatch. It was a homologation special born for Group A rally. With its wide body stance, aggressive aero, and 227 horsepower turbocharged inline-4 paired to all-wheel drive, the Cosworth was feral on back roads and surprisingly civil on pavement. That whale-tail spoiler? Pure 90s rally theater. Now Ford could have built on that legacy with a modern all-wheel drive terror. Light, focused, and dripping with WRC DNA. But instead, we get bloated ST-badged crossovers and performance SUVs that weigh more than a crew cab truck. Now this was a moment to remind the world what fast forward really meant. Instead, well, we got silence. Number 7. Muscle in a business suit. The 96 Impala SS was a full-size sleeper. Clean lines, blacked-out trim, and a Corvette-derived LT1 V8 under that hood. It looked like a cop car, sounded like a dragster, and moved like a muscle car in disguise. You could haul the family and Gap Mustangs at a red light. Pure American cool. A modern reboot? Picture this: a sinister, low-slung EV sedan with silent speed and old-school aggression. It'd be the perfect antidote to the cookie-cutter SUV apocalypse. But instead, Chevy retired the nameplate and doubled down on bland. Come on, man, bring back the attitude. Well, at number 8, we have 2 seats and no nonsense. The Honda CRX Si was light, nimble, and outrageously fun, all without breaking the bank. It handled like a go-kart, sipped fuel like a moped, and had enough hatch space for a weekend escape. Now, it was practical performance at its best. No frills, just thrills. Now, imagine that same spirit reborn as a lightweight electric commuter with sharp handling and real driver engagement. Affordable, efficient, and most importantly, fun again. But Honda? Well, they're busy building beige crossovers and tech-heavy city blobs. No, we don't need another HRV. We need a CRX revival with some soul. Our number 9 wasn't just a car. It was a technological flex. Now, in the early 90s, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 looked at the Corvette and the 911 and said, "Hold my active aerodynamics." Twin-turbo V6? Check. All-wheel drive? Check. Four-wheel steering? You bet. Active front and rear aero? Absolutely. Pop-up headlights, a cockpit that felt like a fighter jet, and the kind of road presence that screamed cyberpunk muscle. Now, with Mitsubishi basically giving up on sports cars, the 3000 GT is gathering dust in history. But imagine a modern version with today's hybrid tech. Could have been a real beast. But in a world chasing EV efficiency, there seems to be no room for over-engineered madness anymore. Last, but definitely not least, the Lexus LS400. It didn't shout. Well, it didn't need to. The LS400 arrived with whisper-quiet refinement and build quality that made the Germans nervous. It was luxury through discipline. No gimmicks, just excellence. It didn't break down, it didn't creak, and it didn't care about trends. Today's Lexus? Flashier, louder, trying too hard to impress. But what if they brought back the essence of the LS400? Calm, minimalist, overbuilt, and paired with a smooth electric powertrain. Now, that would be a silent revolution worth watching. So, here's the thing. Nike remakes Jordans because people remember how they made them feel. They bring back the legends, not just for performance, but for the nostalgia, the identity, the story. Now imagine if car companies did the same with the 90s icons. Not just badges on bloated crossovers, no watered-down inspired by trims, but true spiritual successors. Lightweight, soulful, bold, and unapologetically different. While instead, we get grayscale SUVs with LED mood lighting and fake engine sounds. The 90s gave us cars with some real personality, with pop-up headlights, turbo whistles, T-tops, and quirks that made you fall in love. But the auto industry doesn't follow retro waves the way sneakers or pop culture do. They follow margins, trends, and committees. And that's why our favorite 90s cars aren't coming back. Not because it wasn't great, but because, well, the world has changed. Still, somewhere in a quiet garage, one of these forgotten heroes sits. And when someone turns the key and hears that engine roar to life, for just a moment, it's 1997 again. And that, my friend, is something no touchscreen can recreate. If you miss these cars too, take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe for more automotive nostalgia, and drop a comment. Which 90s car deserves a comeback the most? Let's remind the industry what real passion looks like.